The wizards had, once again, accidentally brought peril upon the world, resulting in the awakening of the lost corpse city of Reier, home to an unspeakable, unnameable, and, well, untamable being. With little hope of survival, the wizards now had only one choice: defeat the Lord of Reier, that they might return to the material realm.
Hi, my name is Chris and welcome back to the final part of my Magicka walkthrough. This is going to be the toughest part so far, but the introduction is mostly just puzzle solving and getting to the boss.
Manor. Ni verkar råka väcka stad full av lik. Reier. Ni måste fixa det vänster. Jag menar rätt. Si oder här att dicka eller om Midgard. Nå vilken Midgard som helst. Oden, de oder have lätt för att förstöra hela Midgard. Jag gissar, och ge vara rätt, ni hittar ge väg och stappa smygskräck det var. Sträcka brott, öppna port, kasta bläckfisk. Nu, ge var viktiga hjälpa. Så viktiga de var långt borta i hjärnan för tid och edel. Jag menar, farväl!
This bit's pretty simple. Just get a life beam, reflect, bounce it off the mirror. Now these things are quite annoying because if you try and target them or if you try and damage them, even accidentally, they'll confuse you and mess up all your keys, and that's not easy to deal with. Also, while you're confused, if you try and target them, all your attacks will miss.
Där borta! Denna globen var bra att kasta bläckfisk. De var bara alla monstersovrum. Väck icke de undliga monster som sover här, ge de skrika och skräna. Åh, na, det var mina signaler. Farväl!
Getting to that thing is pretty easy, just whack on a haste, off you go. The only trouble is getting back. Now I should have set up a wall to slow them down on the way, but it doesn't turn out to be a disaster. So the reason I wet them is so I could freeze this guy on the way back, but I completely failed. So I do an AoE version and then I add a cold lightning protection to make sure I can walk through that no problems. Alright, so that's the tentacles gone.
Here.
I'm going to jump straight across to the one opposite. Now there's a way you're supposed to do this, but I think I found a quicker or easier way. So if you stand right on the edge here, you can actually hit that from here. If you see how those stairs go downwards, that's actually preventing you from hitting it because you shoot the beam too low. But if you look at that snake thing there, that's a mirror and you're supposed to bounce it off there to get that. So you just want to add levitation on and haste to make sure you can get across that gap and then go through the doorway. Up here is the portal book. It's pretty cool. If I could use this in the normal campaign or in PvP, it'd be amazing fun. So there are vents that are going to push you off. You can easily prevent that by putting a rock shield on you. And I go ahead and put back on my frost protection to make sure I don't hurt myself. That should keep him locked there while I figure out what I need to do. Also does damage to him over time as well, so it adds quite a bit when you do the AoE as well. Don't forget to put your rock shield back on the way back. And then again, just use levitation with haste to get across the gap. So that's the door open. We're not exactly doing this in order, but it doesn't matter. So I believe it's after either 2 solved areas or that one on the right just there that we did. This guy will appear, and it's quite hard to deal with when you've got levitation on, so now that it's off I can put on my spells, get haste going, and just keep hitting him with rocks. If you want an easier time of it, just use the cold lightning wall, and that will make him really, really slow and he won't get to you. As it happens, I don't need to. Pretty quick on my feet. Okay, like a boss. Down he goes. So you do want to be careful during that so that your rocks don't bounce off, or if you have a better way of killing him, feel free to use it. This pit took a bit of getting used to and a couple of attempts. I had about half an hour's worth of footage I cut down to this. You can see one of those tentacles of the wings over there, and it's a good idea to get rid of these if it's possible, because if you accidentally do anything to it, it'll confuse you and you can have a bad time. So I'll go ahead and cut here just to the successful run. So you're going to want to move across. Once you're in place, just hold it there and then you can get back on it again later. And it also does not get in the way of what you're going to do in a minute. So again with this one, once you've cast life on it, cast Arcane and it'll pause the movement. Now my aim here is to hit that to stop it, and then the mirror will be in place on the right hand side. First you have to light the snake down at the bottom, and then readjust yourself, put yourself in the middle and just keep on trying to get it. there we go. I'll be honest with you, I did not do that on my first go. I made it all the way across without using that technique. But I figured for the walkthrough you would greatly benefit from knowing this. Running across there and making it in time is more about skill than technique. There we go. So you want to start up this one at the start if you paused it before you move on to the other area.
Lyssna! Trilla ut spöet. Ni var nog vad ni kan utbil.
And once you've got all these platforms started up, you can easily get back to where you started. Just carefully make your way back, make sure you don't fall off. It can happen quite easily. Over here is where I showed you the portal book, so there's nothing really over here, which means there are 4 challenges to complete. I'd say this one is the trickiest, if not the last one. But if you look at the ground quite carefully, you can see a shimmer. Now if you use a fire AoE, or I'm sure there was other spells you can use, but you can actually highlight it for a bit and make the path clear. But you don't need to follow them, you just need to know where they are.
Lyssna!
If you put on levitation, haste, you can just jump over this bit instead of walking all the way around. And you see that guy, he's confused me now, so I've got to run backwards over this path. It's quite quick to get over there, and if you weren't using levitation, then you would have had to run around there for about 5 minutes. So ignore those guys. You want to put on fire protection, and then these guys don't do any damage to you. Right there, I'm just casting Cold Arcane. And you can use the same technique to get back. And you can see the path. Yep, and use the same technique to get back over. So I imagine this is the part you've been waiting for. I really enjoyed this boss fight. It took me a while to figure it out, and I've beaten him 2 times now, as of this walkthrough. It's a lot of fun, and I wish the original campaign had had like a difficult boss, because all you had to do was hit him a few times and he was dead. Unlike this boss, which is amazing. But it tested my skills in Magicka. So hopefully I'll be able to show you a good technique and how to beat each part of this boss's like stages, I would say. And this boss fight does go on for a little while, so I won't be commentating over all of it. Start off with a rock shield. You want to keep this rock shield on all of the time. If you let it drop, you'll take damage from the tentacles, you'll take damage from the lightning, and this guy will suck you in twice as fast. So if you're not clear, you'll get hit by the tentacles, knocked over. You'll get pulled in by that little sucky thing twice as fast. And you'll get hurt by the lightning. There you go, he just ate one of my rocks. I sent an ice rock into him. If he's sucking in, he will take that instead. And the same goes for minion. The only thing I've found that really does damage to him is 1 rock and 4 ice. and you make ice with cold and water. So these are his minions. You can't hurt me when I've got a rock shield on. So that's another good reason to have that. Let's talk about positioning. In the middle, sometimes he casts a spell which will confuse you or charm you. I fail to remember which. So if you stand at the very top of the stairs, then the tentacles won't be able to hurt you for quite a while, and they won't be able to grab you and pull you in. And you'll be just out of range of the spell he casts in the middle. This will kill you instantly, and all you need to do is cast either a rock shield or a normal shield, and that'll bounce it back and destroy it basically. So there you go, he just ate one of his minions there instead of me. He just cast his spell in the middle there, so as you can see I'm just out of range of that. Every time he sinks down, I start charging up my next spell, so I can do the highest damage per second. This is where it gets kind of tough, but the best method I've found for beating Cthulhu in this stage is to slow that guy down all of the time. Make sure I'm keeping an eye on that, and make sure you know when that guy is shooting the purple spell, and always have haste on, because at any time he could start sucking you in. The guy could jump on your head and you're in the middle of a spell, so you want to be on the ball. I'd say once you know the technique for this, it's all about execution and getting it right, because it is really tough. I went through this about 10 times, even on my second attempt now, doing it for the walkthrough. So stay on your toes, keep that guy cold, and if you ever get into trouble with that guy sucking you, you can put a shield there, which will create a nice area for you to stand behind it, keep you safe. My focus here is to do damage as much as I can to Cthulhu. If I spent time killing the minion, then the boss fight would take a lot longer, but you can do it and it does help. There you go, I was lucky there because I cast a shield and it bounced him away when I was jumping. I don't think there's much more I can say about this boss fight. It's nearly over now. If the tentacles do grab you, like so, you can use the same spell I've been using on Cthulhu, the rock with 4 eyes, and it will make them put you down instantly. believe the tentacles start to do more damage in this phase, but with the rock shield you should be able to absorb a few hits, no problem. Hopefully this has been helpful. If you've enjoyed the video, please like it and consider subscribing for more walkthroughs.
Je lofta. Je trodde nog att spåa Cthulhu våra brat kika efter Midgard. Je antar att då förväntar till den dra vänster. Je menar rätt. Igen. Nu je måste teleporten bak till Alderheim. Ett glas vin skulle smaka lite kväll.